Masterclass. So a warm welcome to all of you to the third Masterclass by AMSA International. Yay! I see some familiar faces. I see some new faces as well. So it's good to see you all here. Before we actually begin, let's take a minute or two to read the rules, the meeting rules, so that the meeting can go run more smoothly. So for you, those of you who haven't renamed your name on Zoom and us for the virtual background as well, which you can download. And also, please note the last point, which is the attendance. So the attendance will be taken through a photo session at the beginning and the end of today's master class. And this attendance will actually be used to grade your chapter's performance. And so let's take a picture first. Before the session, I will stop sharing my screen. And maybe let's have everyone on camera and we can take a picture together. Yay. Right, is everyone ready? Kyla, Ifa, Tara, Rain. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hold on. One last time. One, two, three. Okay. Okay, so why are you all here today? Okay, everyone's quiet. So you don't know why you're here today. All right, I'm here to tell you. So today we're going to talk about a chapter identity. This first, today's session will be divided into two parts. First is more of like the technical secretarial stuff brought by me as the general secretary, and then the second part will be more to the branding stuff, which will be brought by the directors of publication and promotion. So let's start with the first part. And before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Jun. I'm from AMSA Indonesia, and I am the General Secretary of AMSA International for the 2021 tenure. So, okay, the organizational identity. A lot of you're here coming from your own chapters, and each chapter, each chapter at the national level needs their own organizational identity. Hold on. And so what exactly is that? It is basically a set of statements that organizational members perceive to be central, distinctive, and enduring to their organization. So here we see three main words, okay? The first is central. Central means that it should your identity should actually include features that are important and essential to the organization. Second is distinct. So this identity should help you distinguish your organization from other organizations. And then third is durability. So it emphasizes in how durable it is to whatever situation comes to your organization. So it emphasizes the enduring nature, and that it is when something changes the organization, this identity needs to be to the point where that the loss of identity will actually have a strong impact on the organization. For example, if you have a logo for your chapter, you have a constitution for your chapter, it needs to have significance such that when one day, for whatever reason, the logo is taken away from your chapter, then it's going to cause a huge loss. Okay, so it needs to mean something. So these three features are features that each organization should have and should continuously build. Like, it cannot be made in just a snap of your fingers, but it actually needs to be developed as time goes by. So the identity should actually answer a lot of questions, but the most basic question that it should answer is, who are we? it can also answer questions such as why are we here, or like what do we need to achieve in the future. But the most important question it needs to answer is who are we? Okay. And if I'm going too fast, please feel free to stop me. And then there are many examples of organizational identities. You might already have brand identities ready with you. For example, like a logo, a letterhead, and then document templates, whether it is for Word, Microsoft Word templates or PowerPoint templates, and then maybe or a stamp, and then business cards. But then if you do want to take it a step further, especially observer chapters who are keen to become full or associate members, you do need a governing constitution. And also even better if you have guidelines or bylaws. So what's the difference between these two? Tasnim, I will mute you for a second. Okay, so what's actually the difference between these two? Oh, because I have limited time, we are just going to go through the big picture of it. So the Constitution, the purpose of having a Constitution is basically to clarify the organization's purpose, and it needs to delineate the basic structure and it is basically like the cornerstone of your organization, and it explains, it allows members to know what exactly is this organization, like what is it, and like how does it function. And also, like, it is something that members can basically refer to when anything happens. So like any of the most unthinkable cases, whether it is like natural disaster whatsoever, like these things all need to be part, all these scenarios need to be part of the Constitution, such that when like these unpredictable scenarios happen, you already know where to refer to, so you don't go from one person to another, and then like the policies that you make don't differ between one tenure and another. So like you don't follow just you don't follow by what the highest office bearer says, but you go back to this Constitution. So this is like the base of your organization. So yeah, so now you can start to imagine how important this Constitution is. And I know a few chapters might not have this yet, and that's okay. But and I know other chapters who have already had this for years and years, and like it has gone through constant evaluation by the members. So the basic contents of the Constitution should, of course, first have like an introduction where you maybe have like a preamble, and then you should have, basic information about a basic breakdown of your organizational name, like the logo, the objectives of the organization, and the basic structure. And then also about membership, how does your membership work? Like does everyone from does everyone from that chapter who is a medical student automatically becomes a member of your organization, or do they need to go through a sort of training phase whatsoever? So those need to be laid down in the Constitution. Then next is the office bearers and committee, and that is basically who runs your organization, who are the major stakeholders that will be in charge of the day-to-day activities of your organization. And then general meetings, or any general meetings here is like any meetings that gathers all the members, and basically like the decision making platform of your organization. You need to write down what is discussed in the general meetings, like also the quorum, a minimum of how many people, and then the voting mechanism, and then any special meetings for any unpredictable cases. And then the treasury, such as your expenditure and budgeting, you need to write that down. And then also elections, and then discipline, like maybe violations to social laws and things like that, sanctions basically, and also impeachment if necessary. And then the dissolution of an organization, that needs to be explained as well. And of course, amendment. So how will you amend the constitution? Can you amend it anytime, or is there a special time in the tenure, maybe only in the beginning, at the end of the tenure? And then who makes these amendments? And then how do you know that this amendment makes sense? Like, how will you vote for it? Things like that. So these are only the basics, but if you do want to if your chapter is actually interested in creating a constitution from scratch, then you may contact me. Okay. So then we have guidelines. So what's the difference between guidelines and the Constitution? Well, to put it simply, the Constitution is like more of the basic things, like the what answers the what, and then the guidelines answers like the how. It is more specific, and it describes specific procedures that might not have been mentioned in the Constitution. So it's more like a procedural thing, and it has a more focused approach. So it focused on either maybe like each division of your organization, like, and then each subsidiary, or maybe like it can also be about, for example, sponsorship guidelines. Like, it doesn't have to be like academic guidelines. It can also be something other than that. So examples of the guidelines from AMSA International include these secretarial and clerical guidelines, treasury guidelines, e-newsletter guidelines, conference guidelines, etc., etc. Then comes the brand identity. So this is just like an example of a document template. And now that we have all these identities, we have all these files and things like that, but we need to show that this is all like standardized, right? It has to have a consistent quality throughout. So that's where the secretarial and clerical guidelines come in. So this has actually just been implemented in this tenure. So previously there was no guideline about this. So yes, this is also new. And so what is actually included in the secretarial and clerical guideline? And I think this is really, really helpful if you want to have like a more professional looks. And yeah, so the content of the guideline, basically, first, it is about the basic writing guidelines, such as the language we have. For like AMSA International, as we know, we use English. But like, what English? There are many forms of English, but we decided to use the English UK. So considering that the the physical secretariat headquarters is actually in Malaysia, and Malaysia uses English UK. So that's the language we use. And then the fonts, and then how you write the dates and the time, and then alignment. Do you use central, left, right? It depends on the document. So you need to write, like, for each document, you need to write which alignment you're going to use. And also spelling. So, you know, spelling here is not the actual English spelling, but yes, you can of course include something about English spelling, but it's more like about AMSA itself. You know, AMSA has lots of forms, like I see a lot of people writing AMSA with only a capital A, and then AMSA with a dash, AMSA dash international. Those things can get quite confusing, so you need to standardize it in this guideline. Then second is emails, very important, because this is like the main source of communication that we use. And so that is why now that actually the directors of publication and promotion created this beautiful template that we use. And also, so we also have a mailing list for the EC and the RC. And then the guideline talks about like the format of an email, and then business hours. So like from what time to what time emails can be sent, and how to set up and use this template. Next, about letters. So the guideline talks about the format of the letters. So this is the format, and they can actually request for letters, and I will make it for them. And the most important is probably the reference number to differentiate between each letters for organizing the letters, as well as for legal purposes. So you can come up with a reference number referencing system. Next is quality control. So this is also has just been implemented in this tenure, and I actually took this. I actually was inspired by AMSA Indonesia, who already had this quality control. So how do you make sure you have all these new rules, right? Especially because this guideline is a new thing, and then you want everyone to adhere to it. But you have, but all these new rules can be a bit overwhelming for everyone. So you do need to control it, quality control. So here in AMSA International, the one who's responsible for that is the General Secretary, and basically the General and everyone goes to the General Secretary to check their documents, whether it is emails, whether it is Instagram posts, everything, every single thing that goes out to the world under the name AMSA International needs to go through quality control first. And after the GS approves, and then I will send it to the overall chairperson, aka Marjorie. But if it still requires revision over here, then I will return the document and notify the sender, like, oh, what needs to be corrected, blah blah blah. And then after they correct it, they go through the same cycle until the overall chairperson says, okay, this can be sent for the whole world to see. So that is one way. And then another way is, so I was actually asked through the Google form, how do you ensure adherence to this guideline? So the first way is, of course, the quality control from me. But then the second way is that, what if someone doesn't actually go through the quality control? So they just decide to send an email without telling me beforehand. So actually the VOCE and VOCI, Samar and Velia, they have key, and also Marjorie, they have key indicators, right? Like to grade the performance of each executive committee. And one of the indicators of this performance is the adherence to this guideline, to the secretarial and clerical guideline. So if one day one EC decides not to adhere, that will actually cause a deduction in the points of their performance. So that's another way you can ensure adherence. Okay, so that is it actually. Not too much to talk about. Any questions? Or is everything crystal clear? Clear? I see nodding. Okay, so if there are no further questions, thank you so much everyone for listening. If anytime you feel that you would like to ask something, please feel free. Anything AMSA related, actually, you can ask through here, secretary@amsa-international.org. Thank you so much everyone. And now I will pass it on to Edward and Nathan as the directors of publication and promotion to talk about branding. Thank you everyone.
Okay, thank you, Junski, for the presentation. It was very amazing. It was very informative, and we definitely learned a lot about clerical and secretarial guidelines that we hope you guys can apply in your respective chapters and apply to make AMSA an even better place. So next, we're going to continue with a topic about branding, which is also something that is very important for an organization, as it is essentially the face of the organization itself. So for the first part, we're going to have a presentation. And for that part, I'm going to pass it on to Nathan, who's going to present his presentation. So Nathan, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Edward. I will start my presentation. Okay, so today, hi, my name is Nathan. I am one of the directors of PNP for AMSA International, and today we'll just be talking a little bit about branding, and I'll be focusing a bit more on the design aspect of the whole branding process, but I'll introduce a little bit like what this term branding really means. So yeah, so what is branding? So if you look at what you think about branding, right? You can say, oh yeah, right? Branding, you have your logos, you have your templates, your posters, your videos, right? Even go further, fonts, colors, you know, how you send emails, you know, as our general secretary mentioned earlier, right? You know, and other things like photos and social media. But what people don't realize sometimes is branding goes a lot deeper, right? Branding goes into how you interact with outside groups, right? What memories do they have about, you know, AMSA, right? Or whatever your chapter, right? And the impressions that they have. And even further down, right? Branding includes what they perceive about you, right? What your vision is, what they think your vision is, and, you know, who is in your group, right? So many of these things contribute to branding. So branding is not just only the designs, the templates, you know, how the emails look, how the design, how the social media looks, right? But it encompasses of every external body of this organization. So for example, if you're AMSA of, let's say, AMSA Indonesia, right? How do people, right, in the local community, right, perceive AMSA Indonesia? But how do people in the international community, within the student body, how do faculties perceive this group? So all of these contribute to branding, right? And that's something that we have to make sure we don't forget when it comes to branding. But what I'll be talking about today is the design aspect, right? How can you exemplify your brand and sort of make it attractive to the outside parties through design, right? So I'll talk about, first of all, the branding when it comes to AMSA International, right? In case any of you guys are interested in being the directors of PMP in the future or whatever. But then this is also give an example of what a good set of branding guidelines would look like, right? So the CIGs for AMSA stand for Corporate Identity Guidelines, right? And basically their aim is to create sort of the visual and design identity of AMSA International. So if you look at this, why are CIGs important, right? So CIGs ensure that there's consistency, right, across our organization, especially with so many, you know, different countries, right? You know, even within our executive committee, there are people from all over, right? And if we just let everyone do their own thing, right, then there's no consistency, right? So first important thing is to maintain consistency, right? And second important thing is to maintain the sort of identity into the future as well, because even though as a director of PNP, right, I am able to maintain that sort of yes, we want these to be this font, this color, etc. this year, right? There's no guarantee that next year is gonna do the same thing. So what the CIGs do is it maintains the AMSA International brand into the future, right, and into future tenors. And that's something that I would recommend that you know, small other chapters do, right? Because what this does is it maintains that brand identity throughout, you know, the next, you know, however many years before they decide to change the CIG. So one important thing is that the AMSA CIGs do not apply to individual chapters, right? The AMSA International will adhere to these CIGs strictly, but then these CIGs do not apply to chapters. And actually, as DOPMPs, me and Edward encourage chapters to find their own individual brand, right? Because each chapter, right, is very different from the other, and they differ, you know, greatly from AMSA International in terms of their identity, right, their beliefs, everything. So we want you to find your own unique branding and identity. And a lot of chapters already have their own unique branding and identity. So that's just something I want to bring it up. So if we look at just the logo, right, the CIGs establishes multiple things. So it establishes the logo, and this is just taken from, you know, my 10-year plan, but this is, you know, just sort of example of what a CIG would look like, right? Our typefaces, right, we maintain those. Next slide, our colors, right? And we're trying to implement these colors, sort of diversify and also give a purpose to each of the colors that we're using. And templates, right? Templates are important, and I'll go into them a bit more later when I'm talking about the principles of branding, right? So next, I'll be talking about a few elements, right? What is most important when it comes to branding? So what are the elements of good branding? So first of all, I would like to talk about consistency. Does the whole organization look unified and consistent with its publications and documents? And also, I would like you to ask yourself, okay, does it need to, right? Replicability, second. Is it easy for future tenures to follow the designs that you implement under branding, right? So is it easy for other groups to, for other tenures or even other designers within the same tenure to adhere to these branding guidelines? And lastly, aesthetics. Is it attractive, right? But that is something that is a bit more, a bit less objective and more, just sort of the vibe that, you give. So I'll go into each one of these individually into a bit more detail. So consistency. The first, I think probably is the most important, especially within 1 year. So does the organization look unified and consistent with its publications document? So here you can see just one example of sort of what I try to do in terms of maintaining that consistency through our designs, right? So as you can see, these are three separate certificates awarded for three separate events that AMSA International is involved in. But as you can see, there are general thematic elements that we try to maintain, right, with each of the certificates, right? As you can see, just let me get out my laser pointer. Yep. Okay, laser pointer. Oh, it's not letting me do a laser pointer. So I'll just let's just draw. Sorry. So as you can see, right, there are similar elements in each of the certificates, right? There's similar elements. There's this AMSA International. There are the borders, right? And this, square border that is consistent, right? And that is one thing that is what I would call consistency, right? If it's consistent, right, and people look at the certificate, right, they can look at it from a distance and say, hey, oh yeah, that's AMSA International certificate, right? It's distinctive, right? But also, like, if they get multiple certificates from AMSA International with a similar design, then they know that, oh yeah, like this is, sort of, it's a template, right? But it makes the organization look unified, right? Because you don't look like, oh, you have multiple designers, right? There isn't that communication and there isn't that unity, right? So this is, but also one thing that I like to bring up with consistency, right, is something that is, again, very much up to you individually as a chapter, right? AMSA International, we've decided to move in a direction of consistency, and therefore we'd like to think professionalism, right? But also you have to ask yourself, right, is consistency to a certain degree always necessary, right? Because there are different levels of and degrees of consistency that you would talk about, right? So for this, I would call this very consistent, right? Extremely consistent, because each of the certificates, right? They're basically, in Hong Kong we call them bangyan, which is like sort of a biscuit mold, right? They're literally molds of each other, right? They look exactly the same, right? Obviously that does lend to its legitimacy, right? We're professional, right? We like to keep things consistent, but you also have to ask yourself, right? Is your chapter trying to give off the energy that, you're professional, you're serious, right? Or is it trying to go in a different direction? So consistency, right, can be achieved through many different means, right? It can be achieved through colors. It can be achieved through artistic styles, right? How are your design elements, right, contributing to that consistency, right? Are you going to have sort of, illustrations that are drawn? Are you going to have, mechanical looking illustrations? So many areas where you can achieve that consistency without having that sort of copy paste vibe, right? And yeah, so the next thing that I would like to talk about with regards to elements of branding is replicability, right? I'll just clear everything first. So replicability, right? If you look at our AMSA International, templates here, right? They're very replicable because most of it is copy and paste, right? And that is good for a various number of reasons, right? Even, right, your backgrounds that you're using right now, right? Those, we chose to use those because they're replicable, right? And they look good, right? When you attend a conference or you attend a meeting, right? And you have that background, then it looks like, oh yeah, they're from AMSA International, right? These groups are from AMSA, these people are from AMSA International from your background. When you attend, you know, a meeting, why do you want something that's replicable, right? So that, you know, a document that comes from, say, um, Indonesia from our GS, right, is going to look the same as a document that comes from Malaysia, where AMSA International is based in. So it's important to have that replicability, but also for future tenures, because if it's difficult to replicate, then it's not going to be implemented in future tenures, and future tenures are going to, you know, have to implement new designs that look completely different. So the design should always be one of the following, as I say here. It should be simple enough to replicate. So something like a letter, right? It should be simple enough so that people can look at a letter and say, yeah, it's easy to recreate that. Or create it in a way that is easily replicated by other designers, such as creating a background or creating a Word document that is editable. There's so many ways that you're able to sort of contribute to making the lives easier of future tenures and also other designers. So what we have done, what me and Edward have done when it comes to creating these templates was to just focus on creating the backgrounds, right, for use for all corresponding elements. So as you can see here, right, with the letter at on the very left, the email and the PowerPoint, right, the background and this element right here is what is the most tying in aspect of the entire all the templates, right? And you can see that we use the same sort of vibe when it comes to our presentations, right? And you'll see the same thing for our certificates, right? And for many other things that we're doing. So one element is to make it replicable, easy to replicate, and that will also contribute to your consistency, right? Because if it's easy to replicate, then designers and other people who are writing these documents will have the incentive to replicate and make their work consistent. So the last thing that I would like to talk about to you about is aesthetic. And the only thing that I can think of is what impression does the design give off, right? Because there's so many things I could talk about in terms of the aesthetic value of things, right? There's composition, there's colors, there's contrast, there's, you know, there's sort of energy, and there's so many things I could talk about, but I just want to talk to you about the impression, right? Because I'm sure that all of you, you know, as humans, there is the aesthetic quality to our personality, and there is the aesthetic quality to, you know, our emotions, right? We enjoy, why do we enjoy seeing things that are beautiful, right? Because there is the aesthetic aspect to our personality. And these are very difficult to teach. And I'm not going to say that I have any right to say what designs are good or bad, right? But one thing I would tell you to be mindful of is be mindful of the emotion or the vibe that your designs and branding gives off. Do you want to seem professional and proper, or do you want to seem, you know, easygoing? Do you want to seem passionate? Do you want to seem, there's so many aspects to which you can shape your designs, right, in very subtle ways that will change how people view your organization, right? Very subtle ways that can change how, you know, sort of your entire organization is perceived by other people. So in this next slide, I'm just going to give a couple examples of some just letter templates that I found online. I just want to talk to you about which ones I would use for different situations, right? And these are not my designs, but I just want to, you know, just sort of give you an image, right? So if you look at, so can you guys see the left and right letter, right? So how about let's have a quick activity and just say, do you guys know how to do the emoji thing? So let's say do a thumbs up if you think that the right is more professional, and do a like if you think that the left is more professional. Let's just have a quick game if you guys want to try it out. Okay, yeah. So I'm seeing thumbs up, right? Which means you guys think the right is better, right? So yes, right. What I would say is the right is more professional, right? And sometimes a lot of guides online. I've been reading into some recently in preparation for this, right? Some guides will say if you want to look more professional, right, don't use as much graphics or don't use as many, you know, sort of design elements. And I don't think that's true, right? right here, if you look at the left, right, it's very simple, right? It's very, sort of, it does have the professional feel to it, but, right, in the elements that it used, right, versus the right side, there is that difference in the, professional versus more casual or more cutesy kind of vibe. And, I'm not here to give like a design lesson, right? I mean, it's design is a very difficult thing to master, and I haven't even mastered it myself, right? But one thing that I would tell you to be mindful of is sort of make sure that the elements that you use in your design, right, don't interfere with the subject of the template, right? So for example, in the letter, the subject is the text, right? And if you have designs that take away from the text, if you have designs that sort of overpower the text, right, that is dangerous because it draws more attention towards your graphics and stuff rather than the text, which is what's important. So another aspect that I would bring up is going to be sort of colors, right? What colors would you use? So color is a very individual chapter decision, right? What color would you want to focus on? So for example, AMSA International, right? We've gone for a more bluish sort of color, but then other chapters can choose other different things that have cultural significance. They have meaning, right? You might choose red for some sort of emotional meaning, right? Or some colors for whatever reason, right? But one thing that I would bring up with these two colors is, right, first of all, you have colors like pink and purple, which are not bad colors in and of themselves, right? But they give off a very non-professional vibe just because of how it's used in this specific template, right? There are ways that there are ways to use pink and purple in very professional manners, right? But then in this sort of context, especially with a lot of cutesy shapes and that kind of stuff, is not professional, right? But again, you don't have to always focus on professionalism because each chapter's identity is completely different, right? And I'm not telling you don't be professional, but I'm not telling you you have to be professional either, right? So I apologize that my presentation is not very conclusive, but that's the thing when it comes to design. There is no right answer and there's no right way to do things, right? So what I'm just gonna leave you with in terms of design and aesthetics is one thing that's easiest to achieve is composition, right? Try to balance things out when you design things, right? Balance is going to give, the viewer, right? It's going to be comfortable, right? And so for example, one easy way to make sure you have balance is just make sure things are spaced right, right? There's, if you have, say, margins on either side of a letter, right? Just make sure that both margins are equal, right? And that's symmetry, right? That makes it more comfortable and more pleasing to the eye, right? And the most important aspect to design is purpose, right? Purpose, purpose, purpose. Remembering who you're designing for and what vibe you want to give off, right? How you want to be perceived, right? And in the end, right, if you want to be perceived as, a proactive, passionate student organization, right, your design should reflect that. If you want to be perceived as a serious, professional, sort of professional sort of politics or whatever oriented student organization, right? Try to reflect that in your designs, right? And in the end, it's really up to each chapter and up to each person what they decide, how they design things. So that's about it for me. So I'm going to pass it on to Edward, and he's going to give like a little demonstration and sort of talk about his aspect of DOPNP.
Okay, thank you, Nathan, for your presentation. We definitely learned a lot about branding and the principles behind branding and how we can apply it to our own individual chapters. So continuing on, we're going to have a little bit of a demonstration on how we here in AMSA International make our Instagram posts. So as you know, social media is one of the most important aspects of branding because it's what people outside of the organization would actually perceive, and it's where they would make their impressions about your organization. So having a good social media outlet and having uh, uh, a good outlook in that term would be very beneficial to your organization, because you don't know who's going to be looking at your organization. Maybe it will be students, future members, maybe, but it can also be people like stakeholders, or even pretty important people like maybe from the government even, possibly. So it's important to keep your branding continuous and consistent even to your social media. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see how we make our Instagram posts. So today I'm just going to make something that's more or less simple. So if you guys were to want to see or follow through with the design process, you can definitely do that, as it's going to be more like a walkthrough instead of I won't be telling you what you should be doing, but you guys can do it in your own way, because as Nathan said before, design it's a very open process. It's a very flexible and very versatile process, and you can do it in whichever way you want. And if you guys want to stop me at any time or ask any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask me whatever you want. Maybe you want to ask me to repeat how I do certain things, or want to demonstrate how I do other things, you can definitely do that. So first thing I want to show you is the application that I use to make our Instagram posts. So for my posts, I usually use this application known as Procreate. It's for the iPad. And what I like so much about it is that because it's a very simple application in comparison to things like Photoshop or Illustrator or other applications, which you might think are more, professional, definitely, and therefore are more complicated, and therefore definitely requires more of a technical skill. But you guys can definitely use whatever application you want, as each designer would have their own preferences. So here in Procreate, we have all our designs. So you can see all these tags. So each tag would represent like an item or a category of a design. So for example, here we have Facebook covers, and we also use different colors to represent different themes of a publication. For example, you can see here for academics or GAMSA, which is research, we use a more bluish color, you can see here. And for other things, for example, with chapter-related events, it will be more or less greenish in terms of color, and also for AMSA. And for e-newsletter, we would use the orangey color and other colors as well. And what I like about Procreate is that you can stack all these things together, and you can keep everything organized. And that's very important in terms of designing. And when you have lots of publications you need to make, because if you have everything all over the place, then it can be quite difficult to get everything around. So here you can see that we have two blank posts at the bottom. So here is the blank post that we're gonna be using for today. So you can see how we have these elements at the top, at the bottom. You can see the top bar has the name Asian Medical Students Association International, and at the bottom you have the different social media handles that we use. And what's so important about these things is that they create the sense of uniformity, or like Nathan said, consistency between our posts. So every post would have these bars, and therefore they would always have something similar between each other. And also want to show you the canvas size, or the size of the posts. So for Instagram, we use a size of 2048 pixels by 2321 pixels. And so you can see that the post is not exactly square, it's more or less rectangular. And what's cool about it is that these bars at the top, at the bottom, they would disappear when you're looking at a post on the timeline, or at the home of a social media account, for example. So you won't see these upper and lower bars. And the important thing about the dimension is that it will allow the
picture or the design to stay sharp when you upload it, and it won't appear like fragmented or pixelated, which is definitely something important. And another thing you want to keep in mind is to always use the RGB color format, because if you're going to post it on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, etc., then you definitely want to use it in RGB because it's computer-based graphics. But if you want to print something out, for example, for a booklet or for a like a brochure, then you're going to use CMYK. So for this case, you're going to be using RGB. So for today, I'm going to make a post to commemorate our new member of AMSA International, which is AMSA Macau. So first, I'm going to show you how we actually get these new requests for publications. So in AMSA International, we try to keep everything organized, and therefore we're using this sort of guideline or flow where people from other departments, for example, from the the Director of Membership and Development, they can submit a request, and everything will be together in this mailing list. So for example, today we're going to make a post about AMSA Macau. So we're going to have all the information that we will be needing for the post in this email. And Nathan himself already made like a special way of making every submission turn into a PDF so that everything is organized into this neat little email. So for the post today, we're going to make about AMSA Macau. So first, the director of M&D himself has already sent me the new logo for AMSA Macau. So now I'm just going to add that into the post. So just insert photo, and we can add the logo. So I'm just going to size it up so that it will look proportionate to the post. I'm going to put it in the middle, and I'm going to use a drawing guide so that it will be in the middle. Yes. You can also change the color so that it's more visible. So now it's more or less in the middle. And now I'm going to add a background. So as you can see, the background we're using today is this color, which we have specified for like chapter related posts. So you can also see by using this color, we can maintain the uniformity or consistency between the posts, and people can see if this is the color, then they can tell that it's about a chapter or about AMSAP or other cultural publications. So now, because the logo itself is not in PNG, I'm going to get rid of the background by using the selecting tool. So I can just do that, and we can delete the background of the picture. Okay. So now I'm going to add some text. For this post, I'm going to say, welcome AMSA Macau. So for the top part, I'm going to write welcome. And then at the bottom, I'm going to write AMSA Macau. So again, put it in the middle to make it symmetrical. And also want to note that we're using Montserrat as the font. And it's also important that you guys use the right size and the right style of the font so that it will look best. And next, I'm just going to copy that, duplicate it so that I can move it directly to the bottom with the exact same dimensions. I'm gonna write AMSA Macau. So you can see the, you can also change like the alignment, things like that. And because AMSA Macau is the sort of the main focus of this post, I'm gonna make it bold so that it has more emphasis on it. There. And now I see that there's some problems with the balancing. I think it's more heavy on the bottom part. So I'm just gonna select everything and move things a bit towards the top so that it looks more balanced. I think that looks good. Okay, and I'm also gonna add AMSA International's logo into the picture, into the post. So I'm just gonna insert a file, and I'm gonna find the logo of AMSA International. And I'm just gonna put it at the side. Actually, I think it would look better if we were to put it above the welcome. So I'm just gonna edit that. So that's the thing about design. You gotta see it through so that you can like sort of feel which looks better. So if I were to put it here, it would feel a lot more symmetrical than if I were to put it at the side. So I think I'm gonna put a little circle behind the logo so that it has more emphasis towards the logo. So I'm just gonna make a circle behind the logo. So I'm just gonna choose a brush. And the thing about Procreate is that you have to draw everything manually, but it will automatically turn it into a shape. And you can fill up the colors directly like that. And then I'm just gonna center it. Okay. I think I'm gonna make the welcome a bit smaller. And now I'm gonna add a background, like some design stuff so that it makes it look more aesthetic. If you guys have any questions, you can just stop me and unmute yourself and ask me a question. Maybe you want to see me do how I do certain things or how I design stuff or certain elements, you can definitely just ask me that directly. So what I like about the backgrounds usually is that I would add some gradations or like shades so that it would look more vibrant or more colorful. So what I'm gonna do is make some like little wavy shapes. That, and then using the eraser, you can erase stuff so that you would have like a and you can duplicate that and you can just flip it around, change the size. And that gives it more of a personality, I guess, than it would were to just be like a plain green background. And I can definitely just add more things to it if I feel. For example, I can add a circle. Then like before, I can just blur it out. And if I want to change the color, I can just do that. You can copy it. And I can also change the opacity in case it's too much.
The Bluetooth laptop connected.
আমরা বেরোবো কয়টায়?
Okay, so I guess that's the general gist of it. You can see how I add some stuff, and basically the overall process would just involve getting a request, and then from the request you would consult with the person who requested the design, what they actually want besides the stuff directly that's on the form itself. You can basically just inquire more so that you can gain a deeper understanding of what the purpose of the post is. So for this case, the post is quite simple. It's just about introducing AMSA Macau as a new member of AMSA International. And this is just the first post, and we're gonna make a second one about the like a brief description. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So what I like also with Broker is that you can easily just copy it and duplicate it. And for this next one, I'm just gonna add the description that was introduced in the email itself. So I can just copy it from the email. And then I can just hide these things first. Move it to the side. Copy it. Can just paste it directly. And then I'll need to change the size. It's a bit small. So what I like when I have a lot of text is I would highlight key elements by bolding them out. I also like to divide up long pieces of text into multiple paragraphs so that it's easier to read. And also usually we have to edit some text so that it would make more sense to be published. Example, can just move some stuff around to make it you can add the logo again. There. And sometimes I also like to add some soft shadows. So what I do is that I duplicate the shape that's behind the object I want to make the shadow of. So for example, the circle. And then I would change the color, make it a bit darker, like that. So now the circle is this dark green color. And then I would just use a Gaussian blur tool to basically blur out the background, like that. And then I'll just move it a bit downwards. And I'll change the opacity so that it's not too much. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna make the title a bit smaller. Like that. And once you're done, you can just upload, you can just export it. Since we're uploading it to Instagram, we can just export it as JPEG like that. But for now, I'm not gonna directly upload it yet. I'm gonna do the same with this one. I'm gonna make the background a bit blurry. So now the color is different, and I'm gonna use the Gaussian blur tool, blur it out, turn on the opacity, and that's that. I think I'm gonna make the bottom a bit bigger. So it would look something like that. And afterwards, we can just export it as a JPEG and we can upload it into Instagram or Facebook, anything like that, with the caption that we have requested from the person who requested the publication. So I think that is all. So afterwards, we can just finish up and upload it directly. So far, are there any questions at all about the design process? Do you guys want to request, like, to see a particular process or anything like that? The questions?
I'm sorry, at the start where you kind of created the squiggly line and then you used an eraser to like kind of blur it out.
Yes.
Could you demonstrate that again?
Okay, sure.
Just that part. Because I'm trying to do the same thing on Procreate, but like I think
Okay.
it's is it something to do with like clipping masks or
Yes. I can show you now. So I guess I can just make a new thing to basically emphasize on what I do. So again, you can just choose a background color. For example, I'm going to choose, maybe this time I'm going to go with blue. And then I'm just going to have this first layer, right? And then I'm going to use a brush that has a hard, like it's not blurry, it's like a hard brush. For example, this monoline brush, I really like it because it also has this streamline feature, and it basically makes it like this like smooth effect in comparison to like if you don't use the streamline, it would become a bit more jittery. So I always use maximum streamline so that it's more smooth. So afterwards, I can just choose a different color. For example, I'm going to choose a darker blue color. And then I'll just make random shapes, basically. For example, I can just make it like this. And then once I make that squiggly line, I can just drop the color down. And then what I'll do is use a soft blend brush or any other kind of soft brush. For example, a soft brush like this would work too, or a soft airbrush would work too. But I usually use this soft brush or soft blend tool because they have like a large size, and that is important because you want to make sure that the blending is smooth. And that's not possible if you use like a smaller brush. So I'm just gonna erase some parts. Can just change the size if I need to. And then that's basically it. I can just copy it, duplicate it, I mean. I can flip it around, and that will create like this nice overlapping effect. And I definitely can also change the opacity. Something like that. And sometimes if I feel like the background is still too simple or still too like basic, sometimes I also add like colors directly through a soft brush. So it would form like this nice gradient effect. So I can just use an airbrush, like the soft blend brush before. And then I can just edit bit by bit. And so you can see that it will like create this nice gradient effect that if you're using Photoshop, you can just use the gradient tool, but in Procreate, we have to use the brushes, and definitely you have to use the soft blend brush or the soft brush to create this nice soft effect. And what I like about gradients is that they have more like vibrancy if you compare it to just using a simple flat color. And it definitely brings out the pose more, and it's definitely more eye-catching compared to just simple flat colors. That's what I like. And like I showed you before, you can also add shapes, for example, maybe circles. So again, change it to a hard brush, maybe this monoline brush, make a circle, fill it up, and then you can just erase it. And this will create like a bubbly shape, I guess. And I think I have to turn down the opacity. it can become something like that. And then you can just add text or whatever you want directly on top, and that's how I usually make my backgrounds. But definitely each designer would have their own preferences. You can design it whichever way you want, and this is just how I do it. So I hope that answers your question. Are there any other questions or anyone curious how I do other things maybe?
Hello.
Hi, yeah.
I was just wondering if you are using a Bluetooth mouse or are you using your Apple Pencil for the editing?
So for Procreate, I usually use my Apple Pencil, and it helps a lot because it's like quite nice. Has all the things that I need to draw usually. But usually before I had my iPad, I used this drawing tablet so that I can draw all the lines and everything like that. Maybe like a Wacom tablet or something like that can help you design better, but it's definitely not necessary, especially if your design is more like looks more like the like Illustrator based. Then you definitely don't really need a drawing tool. But for my case, I like the organic effect of using my hands, so that's why I use my Apple Pencil. Are there any other questions?
Can I just add something to
Yeah.
Edward? So yeah, so Edward gave a really good demonstration of like very good like editing. But one thing I want to add is like for especially for some chapters that are looking to join as or a full member that don't have the resources or don't have the manpower or skills, right? There are very good ways out there to make absolutely stunning designs and absolutely stunning documents, templates, logos, posts, anything, right? With very simple, right, even free software. So a couple I would mention, Canva, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of Canva, right? It's very good software, right? And requires very little training. PowerPoint, right? Even on PowerPoint, you can make some really good designs on PowerPoint. And I know a couple of my, my chapter's designers started designing using PowerPoint. So there are very numerous number of ways you can, sort of just explore and, when it comes down to it, right? It's the most important thing is to always create a product or create a design that is going to convey your message and convey your purpose, right? And it doesn't matter, right? You could have, you could, find someone who's absolutely an expert at Photoshop, right? Absolutely an expert at Illustrator, all that kind of stuff. But then if they don't get the fundamentals of the design, right? They don't get oh, we want to look professional. We want to look, we want these colors. We want these elements. If they don't get that, if they don't get that part right, it doesn't matter what their skill is with PowerPoint. Doesn't matter what their skill is with Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate, everything, because when it comes down to it, it's the principle of the design. So but what Edward's doing is great. Like I don't even know how to use Procreate. It's crazy.
Yes, what Nathan says is definitely very true. What I like about Procreate is that compared to Photoshop, it's very much cheaper. Like Photoshop, if you were to buy it legally, it costs like hundreds of dollars, and I'm pretty sure we as medical student organization, we don't really have the resources to get Photoshop in that way. So for my designs, I use Procreate because it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more accessible because of that. And other than using Procreate, I also use Canva because it's very simple. And as you can see in my design process, it doesn't really require a lot of technical skills because a lot of it's just simple elements like circles or text or the logo itself. It doesn't require like too much technical skills. You don't really need all these advanced techniques or anything like that. So Canva is enough, or like PowerPoint is enough as well, because all you need are circles and squares and simple elements like that to make your designs. You don't need special effects or anything like that. And I use Canva as well because for example, for Instagram stories, Canva is very nice because it allows us to animate our stories, which other applications don't really allow us to do. If we were not to use Canva, I guess our other alternatives would have to use some video editing softwares, which definitely would require a lot more technical skills and also money to get the application itself. But since we don't really have that in our hands, we still can take advantage of Canva and other applications that are easily accessible to us as students to use, and definitely use as an advantage to us to bring about the message that our organization is trying to bring. So keep that in mind, because as Nathan said, it's not about how good you are, it's about how you're trying to bring the message across. That's, I think, is the key point of design, to bring about the message. So, are there any other questions? Is everything clear? You see a lot of thumbs up. So I guess that is the end of my session. I hope it can help you guys to bring about the best branding for your respective chapters, and definitely maybe be inspiring as well to spark like that creative spirit inside of you guys. So before we continue, I have a post test that you guys have to fill up. So I'm gonna send up the link in the chat. So that's the link. There's only 5 questions, so it's gonna be a very simple post test. You can just open up the link, and we're gonna give you guys some time to fill up the form and do the post test. I think 10 minutes is enough, right? It's only 5 questions. So we're gonna be back at 10 minutes. So I hope you guys are done by 5:34 GMT plus 8.
Okay, I see that many of you are having problem with accessing the form, so we'll try to resolve it really quick. Give us a sec.
I already changed the permissions. Can you guys try it now? Is it so problematic? Okay, so it's now 5:34. I hope you guys all have finished your post tests. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you guys are done? Okay, I think most of you guys are done already by now. So, guess we have arrived at the end of today's masterclass session, which is about branding and identity and how we can build that for our organization in AMSA International and your respective chapters. So before we end it, we have to take another photo, a group photo for our absence. So can you guys all turn on your cameras? Junes, can you take another photo for us? Thank you.
Okay, sure. On the count of 3, okay? 1, 2. Okay, hold it. second page now. 1, 2. Okay.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So I guess that is gonna wrap up today's masterclass session. I hope it has been beneficial for you guys to learn about AMSA International's clerical and secretarial guidelines and how we can build our organization's branding as well. And hopefully that little demonstration was also helpful for you guys. So I hope you guys can apply what you have learned today into your respective chapters and definitely bring your chapters into new heights with what you have learned today. And so that is for today. Thank you guys and see you in the next masterclass session tomorrow with Tasnim, our Director of IT. Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Don't forget, we have another masterclass tomorrow about websites. Very important.
Very, very important.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Everyone are welcome to the IT Masterclass.
Is the website is one of the media for the public relation. If you want authors to know us, if you want authors to know who are we, what are we doing, or what we are, what we want to do next, or something like that. So we have the website as the media, as the first thing that they want to find out. Because if some student or some of our clients think what is the AMSA, the first thing we in our generation we go to like the Google and search like AMSA or AMSA International, right? And the first thing will appear is our website. So why website is also important for an organization? Because it's like a and make author can search to your organization, and especially in currently we have I'm not sure it's called like a search engine optimization or SEO. If we have the content or context of AMSA in our website or our other media, we will appear the first thing on the Facebook, on the Google. The second thing that why website is important for our organization is there are no place like home. Our website is like a home, like a home on the online platform. If we have a website, we have a home. So I think it's a safe place for us. It's our comfort zone to have the website to put our work, put our activities or our content in our website, and it's like our home. For the first thing, I think is very important is about reliabilities. So if we have our website, especially in official website, so we have like increase our reliabilities to our organization. Because if you have a website, all the people, all the client, or all the medical students can be make sure that wow, you are real, you are official website, you are an official organization, and they can track back to what the past or what the previous thing that you work, or what is your core content of your organization, what is your concept of your organization, and what are your vision, is something like this. And the last thing is also important why website important for organization is like a hub, or it's like the first thing to connect to other platforms. Like if we want to contact to some members or to contact to other platform, we can search in our website. Like if we want to contact to the Facebook, to Instagram, or Twitter, or email, we can find all of this important information in our website. So all of these four things, I think, is why I can answer why website is important for an organization in nowadays.
Thank you, Burak. Actually, he's saying the very important thing of any organization, because website is the main thing, a main impression what everyone gets after seeing first any organization. Okay, thank you, Burak. Now I want to ask you the second question. If any organization or chapter don't have any organization and they want to create one, or if they have any present website and want to improve that one, how should they start?
And for last 2 years, I'm the OIT. We try to encourage all the chapter to have their own chapter website, because it's like to connect. In if you draw a picture in the big picture, the AMSA International website is like a big picture of all AMSA organization, but we need like a small one, a small room. If I tell that the the AMSA International like a home, the chapter is like some room, right? So we need to draw to decorate our room to have content in that room. So if you want to don't have a website and want one, how to start? This is very important question. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, why do you want to have website? Why do you need a website? Because in some contexts is depend on your context, like in your country or your chapter. If your chapter is like to want to use like a Facebook fan page, like in my chapters in Thailand, we want to use like a Facebook as the primary media. So we can use just only Facebook fan page to create like a homepage or like a room in our for our chapter. But if you want to make your chapters more liabilities or more official, so you need to make some website, or your chapter is bigger today, day by day, so you need to make some website to manage your content and your members. So how to start is depend on what you want to make a website, like what media. The easiest thing I think you need to Google, like, what is the WordPress? The WordPress is the best content management system to make the website. I think it's maybe have some other question that we can describe more about WordPress.
Okay, thank you, Bonak. Should we go to the next question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now our next question is, what problem did you face during your tenure as a director of IT? Can you please share your experience with this?
I think this problem is very common problem of all medical students, because we have a lot of stuff to do, like during our medical school, 8 hours a day, 10 hours, or maybe some 16 or to 24 hours a day in our hospital or our clinical rotation or clerkship rotation. So the really common problem is about time and time management. We have a lot of tasks in our medical school and also tasks in the AMSA International. So the first thing is we need to list all of the tasks that you need to do in this day, in this week, and in this month. The first thing, like in today is 29th, right? On the last days of month, you need to, like, in the next month, what you need to do in every week. And when you rest, you can manage your time better, right? So for my recommendation, I think your timetable and your routine activity, especially like what time of the day you need to coding to write to make a content, what time do you need to sleep, or what time do you need to go to your hospital to see the patient or to the clinical clerkship. Maybe so the first thing you need is to try to manage your time. So I think it's our my in my senior is just only one problems that I face is the time management.
Okay, there's the every DOIT faced, I think, because I also faced this, and you also faced this, and I think Salar also faced this, because IT works are very important works for any organization, and they have sometimes have many emergency calls, like at the middle of the night, you may asked to do fix anything requested by other departments. So this happens, but as organization, as a family, we will do this, and as a family, we will overcome this, I hope. Okay, next question I want to ask you that, what suggestion you want to give to your fellow people like me as a present DOIT, and who in future whose DOIT will come, and who are planning to manage their website?
I think our suggestion is just only a little sentence like practice and keep learning new things, because nowadays we have a lot of new things every day, day by day. So we need to keep practice and keep learning new things. For about website is we have a lot of in nowadays we have a lot of like a computer programming language is to use that to improve our website. But in common, we can just only start for like WordPress, or just go to like a free tutorial like YouTube or Google to learn by yourself. I think learning by yourself, learning by doing a project is the best thing you need. You can improve yourself uh, more faster.
Yes, exactly like this. Because when I started first making a website, I had zero experience, and I just started making the website by watching YouTube. I don't know if you know, will
Yeah.
believe it or not, but you have to practice a lot, and you have to dive through in the work, because this IT work, everything is just practical, and before doing this, you will not understand everything for sure. Okay, thank you, Bunak. Now, next question, and the last question from the your IT department is: there are lots of ways to create a website, like JavaScript and PHP and many things, and which is your choice and why?
And it's depend on many factors. And it's a hard question. And if you have experience on the coding, you can coding. You have some logical thinking, or you have like some experience in programming language. I think it's okay in every language that you choose. But if you don't have any experience in the programming language, the first thing to create a website, I think you is the WordPress CMS. CMS is the content management system. It's like you can drag and drop your content on your website. It's the easiest way to create the website by from scratch, from zero. From I think if you can like go to YouTube and like, oh, and maybe it's just searching on Google like how to create website by WordPress. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of tutorial to teach you how to create the website by using WordPress. I think like AMSA, we use WordPress as a content management system because it the first thing is easiest way. The second thing is we have a lot of free plugins we can use to manage our website better. So for more advanced, I think after you have the general knowledge about the WordPress, after that you can need to like customize your WordPress. You need to study like a PHP because the WordPress is running on the PHP language on the database. I think it's too deep, too deep for in general. But after you study in maybe 1 month or 2 months, you will need to study more if you want to more customize to your website. Maybe some like this in my suggestion and in my choice.
Okay, thank you. So you're requesting, your recommendation is WordPress. Using WordPress is the
Yes.
best, easiest way.
Yes,
Okay.
but other than WordPress, in my own projects, not in organization, I also do like use some like a Python. Anyone know the Python is really the in nowadays we use a lot of Python. Is like a data science, and because I'm a out of my hospital is like in the full time I'm a researcher on the data scientist, and part time I'm a doctor. So not only PHP or WordPress, we can use other language like Python. Python is very flexible too. Other than Python, you can use a JavaScript. Is a lot of like a lot of lively, a lot of community too. So I have three language that I need to recommendation. Is first thing is PHP for WordPress, Python, and JavaScript.
Okay. Thank you, Bunak. And that was the last question from the DIT department. Now we will move to the questions what we received from our participants, and they when they filled up the Google form, and I will and we have 10 questions. If we can manage this within next 15 minutes, then we will answer the full question. Otherwise, we will just skip to our next session. And from
Okay.
the participants, we can see many questions, and I think we already answered a lot of them. What was the first one is what is the most important things to consider when designing a website?
What is the most important things to consider when designing a website? The most important thing, in my opinion, is our corporate identities. Anyone know about corporate identities? The corporate identity is like when you see this website, when you see this organization, what do you think about the identities of this organization? Like if we close our eye and imagine what is AMSA, what colors as occur in your when you close your eye? It's blue, like it's a
Yes,
light
it's blue.
blue. Yeah, the light blue and white is the one thing in the corporate identities of our AMSA organization. So so in my opinion, the corporate identities is very important to consider when designing a website, because your website need our identities in the same template. So if our organization have a corporate identity, so we can design our website easier. The corporate identity is like what is your color of your website, what is your font that you want to use, what is the color is like not only blue or black or something like it. It's just we need to like a six in the code of the color and the size and the leisure or all of things that you need to more specific is the best corporate. The more you can specific, the more corporate, the better corporate identity you can make it.
Okay, thank you, Bunang. Second one is, are there any rules on how to manage website effectively?
In this question, it's depend on like a there are any rules on how to manage a website effectively. Is is I think in my work I have no rule, but and it just first thing is just like manage my time, manage your time. If you can manage your time, you can do anything because you know that in this hour, in this next hour, in the next month, in the next day, what you want to do, what you need to do on the next day. So you can what is your progression, know that what you need to do, or know what you need to improve. So if you can manage your time, you can manage website effectively. And not only manage your time is work-life integration. Your work and your life is the same thing. Because if you love to create the content, if you love to create the website, if you would love the coding, so it's like in some time it's like your hobbies. When you work is like when you have less during your work. Like when you're coding, I feel wow, I really like it. I love to code. So work is not hard to you. So the two things I recommend is first manage your time and work-life integration.
Okay, Bunak, thank you. The next question is, what strategies should be thought of when making a responsive and user-friendly website for both mobile and desktop?
Wow, it's very interesting question. I think it's depend on who is your target, who is your client, or what is your target of your website. Because is like if your target is medical student around the world, especially in Asia, therefore our generation
Mm,
is do you hear me? And therefore our generation is like a mobile based. So we can use the mobile first and then to compare to our responsive desktop website. Because I'm not sure about the percentage of how many percent of our generation use the mobile base, and but we can make the mobile first. But however, in nowadays our WordPress or other platform or our framework, we can duplicate or we can switch in the desktop version or mobile version is synchronized both versions, so do you not need to concern more about this problem anymore.
okay, and the next question is, are there any references for us to improving our skill for managing website, and how can we improve our members' skill in managing website in the midst of a busy medical student schedule? Should I repeat the question?
Okay, so my internet is not quite good now, but and I think I have no reference for improving our skill, for improving the skill in managing website. But in my opinion, if we use the project based all the other work, it's the best thing for me to improve your skills for managing website, for not only for managing website, for all of things that you want to improve. If you have like your project, you can know that, well, this project, what we need to learn, what we need to improve, what we need to do in this project. So after we know what we need to do in this project, we will go to searching some Google, searching some tutorial for YouTube, and we will like will learn, wow, they do like this, they have these plugins, they have like many things to do, and many techniques, so we can pick that techniques to our website. So I think uh, practice on the work, practice on real project is the best thing to improve our skill for managing website, or not only for managing website, but in everything in our real life.
Okay, thank you. And next question is very interesting question. This question is about what is the most effective way to maintain or increase public views of our website?
Well, it's very actually this question is not my domain of expertise, because I'm like a web developer and in like in DOIT. I think this question is maybe we need to ask some like a DOPNP or public relation and promotion department. But I can, in my opinion, for developers, I think is about the social campaigns, because currently we have a lot of medical trends to follow, like such as COVID-19, about vaccination, new guidelines, or about the AI in medical care. So we can follow these trends and to improve our to increase our our public views to our website. Follow this trend by having a corporate identities, so we can make other people, other medical students can recognize our corporate identities, like our blue, our blue one, our white one, so they can if our website or our media have a lot of interesting content, the medical student or other students can be click and follow our fan page of our website.
Okay, thank you, Bunak. I want to add something to this question. Like that,
Mhm.
already Bunak mentioned that. Bunak already mentioned that this is not our task from the IT department to increase the views of the website. What we do is we can count the viewers. We can activate some plugins here, which will count the website views, and the PNP department will take actions to increase the views of that website. And now we want to move to our next question. What are the basic or fundamental components like information, visuals, etc., that has to be included in an official website as soon as it is created?
Mhm. The basic or fundamental component is what is the information that you want to give, to pass, to deliver to your client or to your medical student. So right, if you don't have the information or if you don't have the things that you want to give it to the 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 target, so we don't have things to give them, right? So the basic fundamental, in my opinion, is about information. If you have information, after that you can send this information or this something that you want to deliver to like to designer and let them design in the theme of in our corporate identities, and then put it back to our department, and we can publish this information to our clients, to our medical students.
Okay. Now the next question is, what type of software do you recommend to use when designing or redesigning a website? I think we already answered this question.
Mhm.
Okay, the next question is, what are recommended strategies to make a website that is interesting, unique, and not boring? That means he or she may asking about the contents of the website.
Mhm. So this back to our first question that I answered for the first question from the first question that I answered to participant is our CI, our corporate identities, is very important to make people recognize us and make our website unique. So if you will have a strong if you have a strong corporate identities, we can make our website unique. And how to make our website not boring is depend on what is your content. Is this question is linked to the previous one, that how to increase our public view or increase our participants. Because if we know the trends of the global trends, we can we can create or increase our public view, and our website is not too boring.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, what are good references to learning QMS, such as WordPress and understanding how hosting works?
Maybe CMS, right? I think I already told this is, in my opinions, the best skill is Google and YouTube. We can find everything that we want to know in Google and YouTube, and also Medium. This Medium is like a web blog, right? Um, Google what we want to know and what we want to learn from Google and YouTube. But how to understanding how hosting work, I think in this question is like you need to do it by in the project base. If you do some project, you're creating some website, you need to, when you found some problem or obstacle, you can Google them. So it's like when you find some obstacle, you go to Google and learn some learn from your problems and make that back and come back to your project and continue. Because I think it's like when you drive a car or when you like a bicycle, you cannot read the direction, you cannot read the textbook and then go to drive a car or go to like a bicycle. You need to like if we compare to a bicycle, you need to like it by yourself, and you know that what how to maintain not to go to the left or not to go to the right. I think it's the best thing is do the projects to understand how the hosting work, right?
Yes, learning by doing, you are suggesting, and this is the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, here we comes to our last question, and within this we will end our question session. What materials should we put on the website?
Where should we put on the website? I think is depend on what the website that you want to. It depend on what you want to what you want author know you. Like if you, it depend on your organization. Like I think it's very hard to answer this question because it's depend to like what you want to present to others, what you want to author knows who you are. I think it's like this because if you know who you are and what you want they to know you, so you need to do that. You give you that material to present to others. Maybe confused, right? Maybe like this.
Thank you, Bunak, for that's answering lots of question. And now I want to ask to our participants, if you want to ask anything, please ask. Feel free to leave the question to the chat section, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. We will be very happy to answer your question. Anyone want to ask any question? Or we should dive through our next session. Okay. There's a gentle reminder to everyone that please be present to the end of our session, and we will take group pictures, and this will include it to our chapter approval system. And so I will request everyone, including our panelist Bunak, to be present at the end of the session.
With my pleasure.
I think with this we ended our question and answer session, and I want to thank you again, Bunak.
You're welcome.
Okay, now here's our second part of this masterclass, live demonstration about creating a website. Actually, this topic, creating a website, website design, it's a huge syllabus, and we cannot learn this within this 1 hour. Even we cannot learn this within 1 days, throughout the days. You will learn everything day by day. And I started designing website maybe 6 months or 12 months before, and still I am learning many things what I didn't know earlier. Every day I learn new things by doing this. Okay, now we will see the creating a website. I will try to just present very basic things about creating a website, like a sample page, and you can design this as you want. Okay, everyone, ensure me, can you see my browser?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, let's see how a website looks. Okay, this is our website, AMSA International official website. Here we are in our home page, and you can see this. There's a lot of content in our website, lots of things, and it ends here. I know many of you know many things about website. Okay, this is the website, and at the beginning of the website, this header and menus, and we can go to any pages from this tab. Like we can see the home page, about us page, news, activities, and these are menus. And within these menus, there are sub menus, and each one is a web page. And here, okay, think that just imagine that we don't have any website, and now we will want to create a website. So what we need to do first, we have to think about our name. What would be our name of the website? And technically this is called domain name. Like this, we have this one, amsainternational.org. This is our domain, amsainternational.org. .org means this is an organization website, and we need a hosting like that. In our laptop, PC, or mobile, there's a space where we put our things. So like that, if you want to upload a photo or video, any content, where will this save? For this, we need to buy a hosting and then domain. So we use a hosting provider, and you can choose yours, um, anything. Then we declared this domain and created this page. And first step is buy the domain and servers, and then within that server, if you want to build the website by WordPress, uh, I will demonstrate the WordPress process, because this is the easiest way to create a website with very limited resource and very limited knowledge. Okay, here is the website. Like that, I just log in to the admin panel of our website, and this looks like that. This is the login panel of our website. Like this. Now I will create a new page. Here's the and in this section, this is called dashboard, where we can control everything of this website. And this dashboard, we can see pages, medias, what we upload, where we upload our pictures, videos, or anything. Okay, now I will go to the page section, and here we can see lots of pages. This is our about us page, and this is our home page, and we're now in WordPress login system. Now I want to create a new page. Sorry, my connection is poor, I think. There are also lots of steps I just skipped because we already have our website. First, we need to install the WordPress in the website, but we already have installed a website. That's why I couldn't demonstrate this to you. Okay, and this is the process for creating a new page. Now we need to declare our title. What title would be our page? Like we can say Masterclass. Okay, and here's the edit page of our new page, and there are a lot of programs we can use. I like that we are using the WP Bakery plugin to edit our page, and there's also Elementor and Gutenberg editor, many editor to edit page or design, but we will use our WP Bakery. Here it is. Sorry for the delay. Now we already defined our header and our footer in the website. This is the default header and footer, and this will be available in every pages. And now this is the blank page, and we defined the title of this page, Masterclass. And now we can add many things to our website. And in the WP Bakery, there are a lot of things like that. We can add content, like we can create a new row. This is a text block. If you want to insert any image, this is the image. If you want to insert any image gallery, here's the image gallery. If you want a slideshow, here's this in a video in Google. So there are lots of contents if what you want to put. So think we want to create the text things. Okay, there this is a text block, and we can add any text here. So here's the edit panel of this text block, and we can edit anything. We can choose the font of this text. We can increase the font size or decrease it. We can define the color of this text, and after finishing our edit, we can just save changes, and we will see the changes here. Here it is, and we can edit many design of this. Like that, if I want this text in a alignment as left, because this is now in centered. Here it is. If I want to add any image here, We just have to define that I want to upload an image. We have already many images uploaded in our servers, so we will just use our previous photos here. Or if you want to upload here, you can just click here and upload your photos. Yeah, it is. But you can see this the size of the image is very small. We need to increase the size. So here you just need to define your size, because there's by default thumbnail size, but we want this big. So just take large, define large, and the image size will increase. Here it is. Now if you want to and slideshow, you can add images here. See, here's a slideshow of we just defined 4 images, and here's the slideshow. So you can put any images you want. Just upload this. So now, like this, we can add take many contents here. So what we can do about this header and footer things, how these are defined. So now we will see in the dashboard. Okay, like this, we just created a new page, and there's no mention of this page in the menu bar. Why this? Why is this? So now we will just include this in our this menu section. Otherwise, our visitors won't find this. So what we'll do is just we'll click to the customize section, and within this customize section, there are a lot of settings. We will go to the menu section, because this is our menu, like this menu section, and we will just edit the menu. here it is. Home, about, everything is defined here, and the sequence also, like home, this is a main menu, uh, this is the second one, about us, this is a main, also a menu. But within this about us there are sub menus. Like if anyone clicks to this about us, and or she will see this, under this menus there are these sub menus, and these are the sequence: first our story, our vision, our objective. Just here's the example: home. If we went, if we direct our cursor to the home, there's nothing, because there is no sub menu. Home is alone. But if you go to the about us, there are lots of sub menus. So if you go to about us, yes, there are our story, our vision, our objectives. This is the sequence. Like this, yes, this, there's the same sequence: our story, our vision, our objectives. So after about us, what is subsidiaries? So there's also subsidiaries, which is a main menu, and under this there are also submenus. Subsidiaries, yes, there are also submenus. Just like this, we have defined every submenus in our menu section, and there's no mention about our new page, which is masterclass. Now we need to define this, that masterclass will go under which section, which menu, or under which submenu. So now we will click to add items. See, this is the masterclass. These pages we just created now. Now we will click to the plus button, and this will add it. But we see, there's the masterclass. But we don't want this masterclass as a new menu. We want to put this under any menus as a sub menu. So, like temporarily, we can add this masterclass under the archive section. Just drag this to the right side, and this will be a submenu of this archive section. And click to the publish, and this will be updated to the main website. Let's see what results. Okay, now there was no mention about our new page, but now if we go to the archive section, yes, there's a new masterclass and page. If you click there, we can go to this new masterclass, and we can edit this page. Like here it is. There is a problem because we didn't click update button earlier. Okay, so now in the website, in the menu section, we can see the masterclass is defined in our under the sub menus. And if we click this will redirect us to a new page. And this is the our new page. And we can anytime we can create page, we can delete page, as we don't need this page anymore. How to delete this? Just go to the dashboard section, which is your control panel of your website. Go to your pages, and everything is in your left side of the control panel. Go to the pages, find your new created page, and here it is, masterclass. And we can edit this again, we can view this, and we also can delete this, like this. No, there is no page now because we just deleted this. Okay, this was the basic things. Now I want to ask our participant of what you want to demonstrate me. Everyone, what section you want to ask me to demonstrate? So this is our uh, content page, and this is our header, and this is our footer. Now we can also edit this header footer section. Okay, so I want to now I will demonstrate about that. Under subsidiaries, we have our conferences, but this is not defined. But we have these pages created. We already have this page, but this is not inserted in the menu section. Here it is, AMSC and EAMSC. These pages are already created, but if any visitor visits our website, they won't find anything because there is no map. There is no map of how they will get there. We will include them within these subsidiaries. Okay, just click to the add item and find where is AMSC page. Just add them, AMSC both, and drag them to the defined site where you want to put this. We want to see them under subsidiary section like this. We had already the AMC and AMC page, but there was no mention about this page. Now we just put them in the under subsidiary section and just click the publish button, and this will be updated to the main page. So let's see, is there any change or not? Okay, let's see. Under the subsidiary section, there is a two new page, AMSC and AMSC. Click to there. Here it is, a new page. Okay, and there's also this page, AMSC. Now there are lots of designing section, because the basic thing is the content, the text, but to make the website more eye-catching, you have to put some design things so that people will see your website, and they will ask that, wow, this website is very cool. Like that, I can show you one thing. When we go to the chapter section, like this, this is an animation. We also put this 29 number here, just simple, the 29 chapter. But when you will see the pages there, there is an animation. Isn't it more eye catchy to see? Yes. So how did we do this? Let's see. Okay, someone asked some question.
Hi Tasnim. I think someone just asked a question in the chat on the Zoom.
Okay. Yes, I'm just saying that someone asked that. Hi, thank you for the demo. I was wondering if you could demonstrate making post for specific events under a tab of the main menu. Uh, I don't know what you are asking about. Um, Creating a new page or just a post under this page. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
sorry. Just clarifying. Like for example, under the main menu, there was a tab which said something like recent events or something. Then there would be a sub menu for different posts to like different events.
Like that, you want to create a menu named events.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
under that, when you enter that page, you would see posts for different events which are maybe like upcoming or they've already occurred in the past, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
For this, we just need to create a new page. Okay. Um, he was asking to just define this new page as events, and edit this with WP page paper. Sorry, my connection is a little bit poor. That's why it's taking time. You can insert any links to the any text. Just plan before doing. Create your new pages and input this under your menu section, and this clicking this will redirect you to the new pages, and you can insert as many posts as you want, and you also can insert new links under this section. Give me time to demonstrate this. I'm really sorry for this delay. Okay, here's the new plan. We can everyone. I will just leave for 2 minutes to shift my network. Cat.
Okay, sure. Let's take a 2-minute break first, everyone, while we wait for Tasnim to get his connection back.
Okay, guys. Thank you for this patience. Uh, Now we have some deleted pages. I just restored one of our deleted pages, uh, and I will demonstrate this question here. You asked to you asked about that. What if we create a new page and add this under sub menu events, and we can see new updates. Yes, you can. First, you can uh, create new rows. In the row layout, you can define how you want to put your sections here. Like I just defined that I want to put there 4 section in one row. Okay, here's 4 section. Now I will just work this one section by one section. In the first one, I will create that upcoming month, like December, works in December. Upcoming work in December. And within this text, you can insert link like this. Within this text, I can insert links. Which URL do you want? Like that, I want to redirect this to our website. And publish this by clicking update. Now, if anyone see this page and clicks in this here, and he will be redirected to our new website. Just see. And just like this, we can also add here upcoming works in December. In January 2021, and insert their new page link, like our new website. Creating this, you can create 5 pages or 10 pages, and all of them you can input in text or blocks, defining the links here, and they can just go to the upcoming works in December, upcoming works in January, and they will click there and redirect it to the new pages. I think you have got your answer. Am I right?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Now, anyone want any other demonstration? Anything you want?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Please ask.
Could you please continue with the demonstration on how the animation widgets work?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We can demonstrate here like
Thank
this.
you.
We use WP Bakery, and by default, within this widget, there animation count. this animated counter. Okay, and just we need to declare our design. What would be our like this country, and what will our value, like 29. We have 29 chapter in AMSA International, and style small, large, or extra large where you want, and what will be your fonts. Do you want to very bold or not? What will be your alignment? And you just can save this. Okay, and you can update this and they will see this like that. Just view this page and we will see what we have done earlier within this page. Here it is, and we have defined this section some links like up within this upcoming works in December. We defined our AMSA International old website page, and just clicking this is redirecting me to this site, and clicking this this will be redirected to our new website homepage. But if you don't have a WP Bakery editor, then you have to do this by using other plugins. There's lots of plugins in the website WordPress, and how you can add plugins. Like I want to demonstrate any PDF to my website. There are lots of ways. First, you can upload this to the Google Drive and you can give this link to your website, or you can upload your PDFs to the issue website and you can share the link to your website. But if you want to upload a PDF solely to your website, how we will do this? For this, we will use plugin. There are lots of plugins in the WordPress which will uh, give you easy access to do many things. Like here is the plugin section, and under this you can create add new plugins. Like that, we have these plugins in our website, and we want to add PDFs to our website, and we want to add a PDF plugin. So just click to add new one. What is and search PDF plugins. And how I do this, I always search to YouTube about which about plugins, which plugins is most user friendly, and for any work, which plugin to work. So there's lots of plugin. You just have to understand which one is very user friendly. I know a plugin about PDF, that PDF embedder. By this using plugins, you can give a more user friendly look to your website. Like we discussed earlier about how to increase the viewers in my website, but how you will understand how many people are visiting your website? You can use plugins, view count plugins. Just search view count plugins, install to your website, and these plugins will calculate how many people are visiting your website. Like you want to demonstrate your teams to your website, like this. In our website, we demonstrate our executive committee by this, and this design is not included in the WP Bakery editor in our WordPress. So we get this help from a external plugins named AMO Team. We just installed this plugin and worked this through this plugin, and here's our outcome. We can edit this animated count anything, like we want to 100 days remain. We'll just click the save, and this will change. Now if we see this, and we will visit the new website about new 100. Here how this we can include animated count in our website. Thank you for your question. And now what you want to demonstrate? Cat, are you there?
Let's have one more minute to wait for anyone who wants to ask for a demonstration or ask for questions.
Now I'm asking you that if you want to hear anything. Okay. Katrina from AMSA England asked, the plugin was AMO Team. I'm writing here. You can use AMO Team plugin to use. If you want to demonstrate how to do this, I can. Katrina, if you want me to demonstrate this AMO Team plugin, how to.
Yeah, I think that would be great if we're not running short of time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, just delete everything we opened. First, we will go to the plugin. This here is the AMO Team plugin. You just go to the plugin section, click on the create new plugin, and search this and install this. Okay, then this will appear in your plugin section or in your menu section. So we will go to the AMO Team plugin. And we already have 18 to 19 members in this AMO plugin, and we will create new team members in our team. And for this, here we are in the AMO Team plugin section, and we will create the add new member. First, we need to declare his or her name. Imagine this, I am not in this team and I want to input myself in this new team. So here's my name, Tasnim Shahriar, and this is the internal section. Just compared with this, the how we see and how we do this. Executive committee. Okay. Here's our bio section. We can input our bios here. This is the name section, and under this name section, this is called I forgot, subtitle. And when we click this to any page, the bio of the team member will arrive, and we have to declare this within this section. So I will just copy my bios. Okay, and here's some these are the this predefined text of these plugins. You can input my name here, Tasnim's bio, and you can give the details of your team member. And here's my email. You can put your images here. We will just use our already uploaded image. Where is me? And enter the subtitle, and as everything is okay. Now just publish this, and there are lots of ways to input this new member in the section. But what I use this, for every member there is a defined member shortcode for every member, and just control copy this and paste this shortcode for this new member to the page, creating a new block, and publishing this. You will see the new team member in the page. don't know I can make this or not, but just you can just copy this short code and paste this to a new block and update this. You will find a new member in your website or page. Thank you for your question, Katrina. So here it is. Like this in internal department, I want to add this text block and paste this, save changes. And update the page. So here is the result. A new member already inserted, and you can just change your layout going to the settings of this plugin, AMO team, options, and there you can change your color. Like we defined this bluish paste color as our main plugin color. So you can change your main accent color and secondary accent color. And category of style, there are 4 styles for this plugin, and you can do this all of these things going to the plugin section. Thank you. We already came to the last of our session. If you have any question, please ask, or otherwise we will end our session. Kat, I think we can end our session if there is no answer or question.
Okay.
Hi, Mau. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So, should we just close the session then?
Before that, I want to thank to all who participated in this session, and to our panelist, Dr. Bunat from Thailand, and as he managed 1 hour or 2 hours for us with his very difficult schedule, because he was very extremely busy, but he managed his time for our session. So great thank you to you, Bunat, and everyone who were present in this session.
Okay,
Yes,
very
from
pleased to
me.
meet you all.